Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today we are looking at the CT-200 medium transport. This is another one of the Corellian Engineering Corporation transports made during the Old Republic era. It is considered a medium transport. It's a general alignment, kind of going through everything we have here from our West End Games book. Of course, it's a space transport at starfighter scale. It is 38.4 meters long, has a crew of two, has two gunners. One person can operate the vessel, but you have a negative 15 in order to operate it. So that starts getting very challenging for a lot of people to try and do that. Okay, for an average group skill or whatever, you would be looking at space transports of 4D, Starship gunneries 3D, and Starship shields of 2D plus 2. We can carry six passengers in here, and it has a cargo capacity of 120 metric tons. So really, this puts it along the same lines of the newer uh, YT 2400, except it actually requires a bigger crew in order to operate. Um, but you know, really not trying to knock it down or whatever. It's an older ship though. Uh, even when we're looking at the Star Wars continuity, it's an older ship, requires more personnel. It's not going to perform as good as what a lot of the newer ships are going to do. So that does make a lot of sense here. Okay, so we have consumables for 1 month. Brand new, this would have cost you about 100,000 credits, and used, you're going to find it on the market for about 25,000 credits. Um, it's one of those things. Depending on what era you're going to play in, most people playing in like the Galactic Civil War, the Rebellion era, you're going to have um a better chance of finding these used. You're not going to find them brand new, I'm sure. Okay, so we do have a hyperdrive of times three, and it has a nav computer. This thing is not very fast. It has a space of 3. And atmospheric wise, it can go 750 kilometers an hour. Maneuverability is a 2D. Hull is a 4D, so it is fairly resilient as far as the hull goes. Shields is 2D, so that's pretty on par with our what we consider our standard. Our sensors, though, look pretty pretty robust here, because passively we can scan out to 10 kilo or no out to 1 kilometer. We can do an active scan out to 2.5 kilometers with a 1D bonus. We have a search out to 4 kilometers at a 2D bonus, and focus at 200 meters at a 3D bonus. I was thinking, for whatever reason, passively we're scanning out to 10 kilometers, but no, there's only 1 kilometer. Uh, but still, I mean, for just a standard transport, the sensors aren't too bad. We do have one quad laser cannon. It is on a turret, has a fire control of 3D. Damage is 40. So not exactly certain where that's sitting on there. I'm going to guess it's going to be on the dorsal side somewhere, but it might be ventral. We have two laser cannons. These are the ones that look like they're on the chin, and that is going to be, let's see, as I'm looking at the ship again, and for the quad laser cannons, if you can see on the ship, there seems to be a kind of circular panel there. I'm gonna guess that that might be our turret. It might pop up, but I'm not 100% certain. Sometimes with some of these older ships, something like that would drop down. So, it's hard to really say here. Um, but getting back to the two laser cannons in the chin, they are fire linked. Starship gunnery skill. Fire control is 2D, and we have a damage of 3D. Um, it is a very nice looking design. I'm going to really give it that. It has a very nice look to it. Unfortunately, looking at how it's flared out, if you could fill that in and give yourself some more crew compartment area, that would work out really well. I could see very easily modifying this so that way that was crew compartment area, maybe better living quarters and everything else. Uh, and that first kind of disc coming out, I think that's going to be some of your crew area. Not really the. I mean, it's kind of harkens back between the, to say it this way, mushing together like the YT 1300 and say like a Corellian Corvette or something like that in some regards. Um, it is a very nice design. I just looking at it in the front because we have support fins really going from the neck to the cockpit all the way back to that first kind of cylindrical pylon coming out. I'm going to guess that the first ones might even be maybe like your docking hatches or something. Maybe even the second ones as well, so that way you could dock the forward one for maybe um, personnel, and the second one for cargo, and you could maybe divide that up somewhere. Um, and of course, we have the engines that are going to look very similar as to what we have for the Ion engines on the back of the YT 1300, something along that line. Um, but like I said, I could see people heavily modifying this. Now, what we don't get is all the extra fluff. I don't have this in the book with a write up or anything else, and I looked the Wikipedia doesn't have anything on this. Um, so this is really just a kind of fluff ship that was kind of thrown out as stats somewhere. And thankfully, we were given a nice picture of what the ship looks like. You would imagine somewhere someone had kind of written up the extra fluff for it of, it was marketed well towards the transport industry or whatever, but it didn't sell well because XYZ or something like that, uh, which was quite often some of the write ups that we would get on a lot of these ships. But honestly, I do not have that. And I don't see anywhere in here where it tells us what book this came out of originally for me to look that up. So, um, it makes it little bit more difficult. And I'm trying to quickly look things up online and all that, so that way I can get some pretty good information to you. I have the stats, but sometimes it's nice having that extra fluff to say it performed well on this, or maybe it was a little harder to upgrade some of the systems, so the design itself bombed or whatever. Which is a good write up as to why it didn't sell. And you don't see very many of these, and we just have just the stats or something. So with that being said, not much more to really add to it outside of it is just a nice looking ship, although it does need a little bit more of a crew. And this is another reason why I myself enjoy having like droids or something that you can throw on there. Whether it's astromech droids don't take up a lot of extra space, so if you had a couple extra droids on there, if you don't have the actual flesh personnel of whatever being or another that kind of help you pilot, you could have some droids as backup, so that way you would not incur like the plus 15 to try and operate it as a skeleton crew. You would actually have the droids on there to try and help you out. So that's some of the bigger reasons why I do enjoy droids and all that a lot in the Star Wars universe. If for nothing else, they can always be backup characters to help operate ships or whatever. So, and we saw some very nice examples of that from the prequel series where the pit droids fold up to a small little uh, shape or whatever. You could throw them on a shelf or something, pull them down, and then there you go. The battle droids, I mean, even just the regular pilot droids, not even for the combat or whatever, because they're again, they fold up and they take up a very little amount of room. Maybe you have one small room or a closet devoted to maybe three or four droids in there, and then you can at least fly and operate the ship. Maybe you have to be the gunner, but you can still have them fly the ship and take care of everything else for you. With that, thank you so very much for stopping by. We're still trying to get through all the headaches of dealing with whatever I'm going to do here for my computer. Things are still cobbled together. Regrettably, it's going to be this way for a little bit of time before I get things figured out and figure out what I can and can't do here. So please bear with me on that. But it's always wonderful having you stop by. Hope you're having a wonderful day, and we'll see you in the next video.